So it's a good idea anytime you're moving to a new device to think about doing some housekeeping on your Mac to kind of clean some things out. So I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can do that to make things transfer a little bit faster for you. So I'm going to start off by opening up my desktop here, just on my plain desktop, and I'm going to click on Go, and I'm going to pull down to my desktop folder. Now, when I open up desktop, it's got a bunch of files in it. It may open up in icon view or in list view. I prefer list view when I'm doing this. And then of all of these files, you're going to have a series of individual files. You'll have folders, and it'll tell you how large these files are. But it doesn't by default tell you how large folders are. So anytime you have a folder, it won't give a size for those folders. So what I like to do is with a window open, I go up to the View menu and I pull down to Show View Options. And then from here, I tell it to calculate all sizes, which means it will calculate the size of everything, documents and folders. And I like to tell it to use these as defaults, so any window I open from here on out will automatically calculate all sizes. So now everything is being calculated. The size of everything is being calculated. So if I go up here to the top and click on the word size, it will actually sort this list by size. If it's in reversed order, you can click on it again to flip-flop those. So these right here are the largest files that are taking up space on my computer. Now, really quickly, you basically have three different measurements that everything on your computer is measured by. You have KB, which is kilobytes, you have MB, which is megabytes, and you have GB, which is gigabytes. GB is the largest, then megabytes, then kilobytes. Your hard drive, most typical hard drives are around 256 gigabytes in space. So I have a 256 gigabyte hard drive, and of that, this one folder is taking up 4 of those 256 automatically. This folder is taking up 2, this one's taking up 1.8, and so on. If I need these, that's fine. I can leave them on my hard drive, that's not a problem. But if this is stuff that I no longer need, then I can simply throw these things away, and this is going to free up a lot of space on my hard drive. There's also a shortcut to throw things away, and that is the Command Delete key. By holding down the Command key and then Delete, and it'll automatically throw it in the trash for you. Now, desktop's a good place to look. Your Documents folder over here is also a good place to look. Again, I like to open up my Documents folder, sort by size, so I can see which ones are having the most, taking up the most space. So I have a folder called Work Files here that's taking up 13 gigabytes worth of space. Now, if I double click to open that folder, I can sort that folder by size to figure out which things in here are taking up the most space again, and then so on, and go into each one of these until I find the files that are taking up the most space. And if I have stuff in here I don't need anymore, again, now's the time to kind of clean some of that out. Now, Desktop and Documents is where you're going to find the majority of your stuff. One other thing to look at while you're in your Documents folder is you will have a Zoom folder most likely in there. This is where any non-cloud recordings are saved. So if you do recordings in Zoom that are not cloud recordings, where you don't get the email telling you, hey, you've been, here is your cloud recording. If you save things what they call locally on your computer, then all of those are stored in that Zoom folder. So there's a good chance that you may have a bunch of old recordings in here that you don't need either that can be thrown away, which is again going to save you some space. So now that I've cleaned up my Desktop and Documents folder, I'm going to go to my Go menu at the top and go to Home. Home is like your user folder that contains everything that's in my Wagner's 01 user on my computer. And here's where I'll find all the applications and a few other things. The biggie here that you want to look for is your Downloads folder. Your Downloads folder may have tons of things that you've downloaded over the years. Anytime you download anything off the internet, off a canvas, this is where it goes. So again, open it up, sort by size, and then you can find the larger files and then delete those. You can also hold down the Shift key to select multiple things at once. If I go back, you may also want to peek in your pictures, your music, and your movies folder. In here, you're probably going to see a movie library for iMovie. If this is pretty large, then you can open up iMovie and get rid of some old projects if you don't need them. You probably want to look at your music folder. In here, you'll find an iTunes library possibly. iTunes library, again, if that file is pretty large, then it may be you have some songs you no longer need that you can clean up. And same thing with your pictures folder. Your pictures folder is your photos app, essentially. And if this is large, that means you have a lot of photos in your photos app. So with any of those three, if you needed to clean house in there, what you need to do is clean those out in app. So I would have to open up the Photos app, find the pictures I didn't need, click on those, and then delete those like that. The problem is with the Photos app, anytime you delete something, they actually don't get deleted immediately. They go into a recently deleted folder and they'll sit there for at least a month until those will get deleted at some point later on, unless you open up that recently deleted folder and tell it to delete all, and then it will delete these right now instead of waiting up to 40 days for that to delete. So if you want to go through your photo library and clear some out, you can do it that way. And if I open up iMovie, if I have some old projects in here that I don't need, I can just tap the three dots and tell it to delete that project. And that will clear up some movie space. Same thing is true with iTunes. I open it up, find the songs or movies or things in there that I have that I no longer need, and then just drag them to the trash or delete them from there. So those are a few ways that you can do some housekeeping to try to clean up some space on your Mac.